My concerns about the process was the mystery. It's like, okay, we heard about surrogacy before, but how do you break it down? What are the steps? Where do you start? Different options along the way to go with this surrogate or that surrogate. Can we find a surrogate we like? How much is this going to cost?
All of the paperwork, the legal stuff, is it going to take? You know, are we actually even going to get pregnant? It just felt insurmountable to me, and I just didn't know how we were going to achieve being parents.
The idea that surrogacy was a possibility was the most exhilarating feeling that I had had in my entire life. I had looked at a whole bunch of other ways of doing it: adoption, having a kid with a friend. Surrogacy provided sort of a sense of normalcy.
Well, the first time I knew surrogacy was possible was when some friends of ours actually were going through the process themselves, and they were the first people we'd ever known to go through this, gay, straight, or whatever. So that was actually a very exciting realization.
Hearing that you can't carry your own child is a pretty devastating experience on its own, and you know, you're stuck with, what are your options? Are you going to adopt? Are you going to find somebody to carry a baby for you?
Why are the surrogates interested in doing this? Why would they help?
Because that is such a, you know, giving thing of their body and of their time, and sacrificing, if they have a family, you know, time with their family and stuff like that.
There was a lot about this process that's new and confusing and complicated, and you know, the fact that Growing Generations really had been there and done it many times over helped reassure us that they knew what they were doing and they were prepared for, you know, any of the unforeseen circumstances that could have come up.
For me, was having no idea what I was going to go through, and having Growing Generations there to hold my hand throughout the process and you know, bring me out on the other side with a baby was just fantastic.
They completely reassured me. I actually walked out thinking, I'm ready to start now.
You know, all coming from a very common place, just wanting a family, wanting a child.
So we've gone through the first stage. We accepted the fact that we're gonna go through surrogacy. We settled on the agency. It was obvious that the next steps were laid out, and then we started basically, you know, meeting with surrogates. We got a phone call actually pretty quickly saying there is somebody, and we were over the moon. Just this nicest couple.
She looked at us and said, we'd love to work with you, and we said we feel the same way. We don't even have to think about it, and we went on from there and just had the most, I think, one of the most incredible experiences that anybody could have had. Just like so kind and considerate and dear, and took it so seriously and took on the responsibility of carrying our child with such care, with such unbelievable care, and she was wonderful. We talk to her still all the time. You know, we have a really nice relationship with her.
We loved ours. She was super sweet, and I think one of the most caring people we've ever known. So
I don't know if I mean, I question all the time, or do we just get lucky? I mean, because she was awesome. She, you know, had the exact right balance of being concerned and being involved, but yet not overstepping any boundaries. She knew what it took to be a good mom, and so I trusted that.
My surrogate was probably the best surrogate you could have ever asked for. I think the screening that Growing Generations must use to find these folks is so important.
Well, and when they were actually born and they put them into your hands, just overwhelming. There's just nothing that can ever match that. We were prepared to be emotional, but not like that.
Not knowing, you know, for so long that I was going to be able to be a parent, and then actually having the child placed in your hands, then you knew, and it was amazing. It was just something you'll treasure forever.
I couldn't believe that he was actually mine, and that this thing that I had waited so long for was actually a reality. It was, you know, probably the best thing that I've ever experienced. Okay, up we go. Now you can answer questions. See the red light? See the red light? Look right there, there's the camera.
We were in the room with our surrogate when she gave birth to Jonah. He was born by a C-section, And actually all 4 of us were there, and we'd become such good friends throughout the process of our surrogate's pregnancy. And just to see Jonah come out and how beautiful he was. I mean, I'm gonna cry when I talk about it because it's just so, there was my baby, you know, that we had waited a long time for and gone through a lot to get to this place. We hugged and kissed our surrogate. They let us stay at the hospital, and I had a room just like a new mother would, and kept him on my knees and stared into his face for the next 2 days straight. I remember that moment, like, oh my God, we're parents.
It was everything I imagined. It was amazing.
I think my favorite thing about being a parent is coming home and having him run down the hallway screaming, "Daddy, Daddy!" Daddy, that's right. Daddy, Daddy.
Just the little things, you know, like when you pick up one of their drawings from school and they say, "That's for you, Daddy." And of course the obvious, you know, "I love you, Daddy," or "I love you, Papa."
Well, for me right now, just watching them change every day and seeing what new thing they've discovered or learned about life, and just the excitement in their eyes. It's just kind of cool to come home from work and there's always something new and exciting to see in their face.
I think that putting him to sleep, even if it's the middle of the day or at night, it's just the look on his face looking at mine. And it's just pure, innocent love.
I never expected to feel this much joy. I knew it was going to be wonderful. I just didn't know it was going to be this much fun.
I love you. I love you so much.
I think the part about Growing Generations that I appreciate and am grateful for the most was the quality and depth of which they go through the process. You know, all the background checks and the tests and medical and mental and physical. You can't do too much in that process, you know, to help put the intended parent's mind at ease or put our mind at ease. And that's one of the things that I felt most grateful and comfortable with about Growing Generations.
I think the best thing about Growing Generations is they've done it all before and they know exactly how it works.
They did what they said that they were going to do. There were people that were experts in their areas all along the way that that really followed through. If there was ever an issue or a question, someone got right back to us and had an answer. They were very committed to having us become a family, and there was an emotional component to this. It wasn't just all business.
From budget to doctor's appointments, to meeting with the surrogate, to continuously communicating with the surrogate. It was broken down to easily understandable steps. It was just right. It was done just right. The meeting was the presentation of what it's going to be, the conversation with the owners and the coordinator, and it was, this is what it should be.
I felt like the owners of the company had been through this themselves. They knew what they were talking about. They were walking the walk, and that was very reassuring to me. And they really held our hands, and that made it incredibly pleasant and wonderful from all aspects. It was really nice.
The mission here is simple: to value and serve individuals and couples all over the world who want to have and raise children, regardless of sexual orientation, marital status, or HIV status. We provide a pathway for donors, surrogates, professionals, and staff to realize their calling to help create and nurture families.
It would be one thing to just help people have children, and a noble pursuit at that. Our vision extends beyond this. We help people have babies, we help people parent, and we help families flourish.